Exotic armor is some of the most expensive luxuries that you can collect on Skyblock today. If you've checked the auction house at all in the past couple of weeks, you may have noticed some armors appearing for sometimes hundreds of millions of coins. What makes them worth so much? Today, we're going to talk about some armors that are colored differently than their originals, how they came to be, what kinds exist, and even a currently working method to get a few of your own. Stick around, because we're going to be taking an inside look at some of the most rare and expensive armor pieces that exist after nearly 2 years of Skyblock. Let's get right into it. Our story begins in 2019. At this point, Skyblock is still a new game mode on the Hypixel network. People are discovering armor sets for the first time, like dragon sets, magma armor, and a bunch more. People were also discovering that you could dye them. As you might know, dyeing armor with dye doesn't work like it does in vanilla Minecraft. If you go ahead and try it, the game simply won't let you. Back then, this wasn't the case. If you were to take any combination of dyes and combine them with armors, you'd be able to dye them any color you want. This is Takeof. Some of you guys may know her as my island builder. She also helped out with a lot of the footage in this video. Like thousands of other players, Takeof's been around for a couple of years now, and not only that, but she dyed some armor herself using the original method back when it was possible. Now Takeof, I know you told me before that you got exotic armor yourself. Can you tell us about how you got it, and do you still have it today?
Okay, so it was back when End was just released, so no one had armor, and I had a strong set, and I wanted to be like the cool kids, so I decided to dye it yellow to kind of fake it. And then people started like calling me out for not having actual superior because it was, you could easily tell that it wasn't superior, and then I just ended up selling it, and I think I made enough money to buy like half actual superior, so that was fun.
Takeof isn't the only person to have gotten these armor sets though. Hundreds of them were made, but most people who have them either don't play anymore or don't realize it's even valuable. Every rare occasion, one's put up for auction, which gives rise to a completely new collecting community, the Exotic Cafe. This community is full of dedicated exotic collectors who have been watching the auction house closely for these sets. It's here that people work together to trade certain colors so they can complete their sets. They not only trade these pieces, but discover methods of locating where they are. Since you can't still dye armor original colors, the only way to obtain them is by hunting them down. An early technique was using splash lobbies to check the armor on tens of people at a time. Back before the God Pot was introduced in the game, people would pay for public splashes so they didn't have to brew tons of potions themselves. Because of this, lots of mega servers would see huge amounts of traffic appear and then vanish in waves. Exotic collectors made a mod that would take advantage of this and tell them if a special color armor piece was in their lobby, and so they'd just lobby hop, timing it with splashes. Top Skyblock developers continued working on applications that would help more exotic pieces become uncovered. Soon, top collectors started getting a hold of Discord bots that could ping them anytime special colors were put on the auction house. As development continued, this extended to an entire database capable of searching hundreds of inventories for desired items. Even today, exotic sets are being uncovered daily. Just this week, people discovered that for the first time in a year, a player with a one-of-a-kind armor set logged in. He logged in with the only known Lime Blaze armor set on the server. It makes you think, what set's going to be uncovered next? Using the database, researchers have put together a list of how many of every possible exotic armor exists. I'm going to go through and rank them all on a tier list, taking a lot of variables into account, like how much they're wanted and how many exist. This way, you'll be able to see all the ones that are out there and even maybe find ones that you didn't know you had. Take note that there can't be a perfect tier list with how subjective it is, so this is my own opinion. Also take note that the color they are is incredibly important. If you find someone that has a mint shade of anything, it'll go for stupid amounts of money. A general rule of economy is that the more desired an item is, the more it'll be sold for, so a cool looking color of anything would certainly add to that. In F tier, we have Magma set. The reason this set is so much worse than all of the rest is because nearly 15,000 of them exist, and hardly anybody wants them unless they're a cool color. Back when dyeing armor was possible, magma armor was one of the easiest sets to obtain in the game, so this should make sense. If you're new to collecting, this is a great set to start with because you could get a full set for not much money. In E tier, we have Protector and Old Dragon. Only about 2,600 exist for Old and 2,200 for Protector, so they're much more rare than Magma. But there's still sets that not many people care for. These sets still can go for a lot of money because they're rarer than other dragon sets like Strong. In D tier, I put unstable because they're generally more wanted and considered cooler than protector and old, especially if you get a good color. I've seen lots of blue unstable sets exist, which is a greatly wanted color. I also put strong set. Out of all of the dragon sets, strong is the most common by far, but I also think that people would much prefer having a completed strong set than a completed old set. I also put pieces from the mob set like Guardian and Creeper Pants. Finally, Miner's outfit was also put in D tier because you can't put them on bin and they aren't typically traded much or wanted as much as some of the next pieces we'll be talking about. The first to go in C tier is Angler. Angler set is about the same rarity as dragon sets. I know I've personally seen less in circulation, so people usually get away with selling them for quite a bit. Next is Lapis. A lot of people think that Lapis is common because 8,000 of them exist, but there's a lot of cool colors that exist for them, and lots of people really like Lapis sets. Some Lapis sets can sell for hundreds of millions of coins if you find the right ones. I put Obsidian Chestplate in C tier as well because it's decently rare, and once you find one of them, you already own a completed set. This is another really good one to go for as a new collector because you don't have to worry about matching colors since there's only one in the set. Finally, I put Stereo Pants in C tier because there's only 310 of them that exist. In B tier is Speedster set. Getting a completed Speedster set is not an easy task. Hardly any cool colors ever surface. Similar to Speedster, Mushroom set only has 800 to exist. Despite this, you can sometimes find someone selling full sets on Auction House. Similar to both, Emerald set is even more rare, only having 580 existing sets because at the time it was considered a late game set, so now finding similar colors is getting close to impossible. Wise Armor also belongs in this tier because lots of people that play dungeons are willing to pay a lot of money for them. Also in this tier, Leaflet. Only 70 are known to exist. In A tier, we have Growth. Today we're joined by Chandoggy. He is one fortunate owner of a very exclusive set. He owns the only green growth set on the server, one of very few growth sets that exist total.
It's nice to be here.
Tell me a little bit about your set. You said that you never changed hands with this set, so you made this set and you've kept it to this day. Can you tell me a little bit about when you were making the set? Like, why did you pick growth set? Why do you pick green? Is there a history behind any of that?
Sure. So back when I started playing on Skyblock, pretty much nobody would be using the growth set. Everybody thought it was just a bad set. There was, especially when the set after it came out, was that like the dog set?
The Mastiff Armor.
Yeah. Once the Mastiff Armor came out, the growth set was kind of thrown by the wayside. And I was really interested in doing kind of off-meta ideas, which was pretty much make a growth set, kind of max it out, something that people just wouldn't do normally.
And making this set definitely wasn't a meta idea. He now owns a growth set that was tailored exactly for him. I put Squid Boots in this tier because only 69 of them exist. Nice. Despite so few existing, the only ones that I know of are black, which isn't a crazy color. Farmer and Rancher boots also belong in this tier with about 308 existing. This is another set where you only need one piece to own the whole set. Finally, I put Young set in this tier because even though 3,300 of them exist, it's incredibly desired. Some colors, like green for this set, are some of the most valuable sets to exist. Out of all of them this far though, this one is your best chance of obtaining. Now we get to S tier. The sets in this tier are so rare and desired that you would have to probably sell your soul to get one. Every set on this tier was considered a late game set at the time, meaning less were able to be dyed because less existed in general. The first is Superior set. Despite what you would think, these are still surprisingly common with 1,430 existing. Even with this being the case, it's still pretty impossible to find a completed set unless you buy it from someone who got it ages ago and is looking to flip it for way more. Sets of Superior can set you back hundreds of millions of coins. The next one is Tarantula set. For this set, you only need to collect two pieces, the leggings and the helmet. Only about 126 of them exist. Unless you have hundreds of mil, you won't even be able to get a stinky color of this set. Takeoff actually managed to make like 3 of these, but she blew them up with TNT because she wasn't aware that they were worth anything and thought it would be funny. Don't be like Takeoff and check to see if any of your old sets are colored differently. Bat sets are even more rare, with only 23 being known to exist. Not a single completed set has been made. Tuxedos are also incredibly rare. There hasn't even been a documented case of an elegant tuxedo existing. But there are a couple of cheaper tuxedos that have existed. Finally, remember when I mentioned that a lime blaze set was just uncovered this week? Well, only 3 are known to exist, making this the most exclusive item on this list. If you want to get some of these sets for yourself, it's not impossible. In just a couple of weeks of collecting, here's what I was able to personally get. I got a Walmart brand Superior set that's slightly faded from its normal color. My favorite part about this set is that someone probably dyed it and decided that they didn't like it, so they probably tried to get it back to its original color, and now I'm stuck with this, instead of the dark green Superior set I could have had. I got a white or gray Tarantula set. I got a gradient green Young set. I got a Lapis set that's slightly darker than normal. I got a black Strong set. A Mob set that's slightly lighter than normal. And finally, I got a same color Magma set. If you still don't want to spend as much money as I have, there's some options for you. What if I told you that there exists a method to still dye armor, but only to specific colors that nobody would buy? We're talking about dyeing armor using Fairy set or Crystal set. If you put on one of these 2 sets and spam click the leather piece you want dyed, if you're able to get it fast enough, it'll dye them to the same color. Using this method, you could get any leather set to purple, white, or pink. There's just one more thing we have to talk about. There's a few sets that have changed colors in between patches. If you could find one of the original shades, it's just as valuable as some of the highest tier ones on my list. The first is yellow shark armor. For some reason, admins made shark armor yellow only to decide that it was a terrible idea and changed it to the blue that we all know now. The second is black Witherborn sets. Necron, Storm, and Golder used to be black. Some of these sets are so expensive that they've sold for literally billions of coins. Now you're equipped with all of the knowledge you'll need to make a collection of your very own. Maybe you could help us discover the thousands of sets that exist but remain undiscovered. I hope you enjoyed your tour of the world of exotic armor sets. If you liked this video, please consider subscribing. Most of my viewers don't subscribe, and we're already about halfway to YouTube rank, so if you could just check and see if you press that button for me, I'll keep working on getting videos like these out. Until then, take care, you guys.